What is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be starting a new game and a new series. We're going to be doing a Kerbal Space Program career mode playthrough. And we're going to be continuing on with this playthrough all the way until we get to the far end of the tech tree and have visited every planet available. Now, as you can see below, we do have mods running on this one, and one of those is the Outer Planets mod, meaning that there is even more celestial bodies for us to try and get to grips with. Meaning that this is probably going to be quite a long series, but it's one that I'm excited to get into. Now, anyone that's played Kerbal Space Program before on career mode probably knows that there seems to be no end of money that comes into this space program. Just benefactors donating all of their dollars into the system, meaning that you're never really short of cash on hand. Well, not anymore. There is a cost of living crisis going on, and the Kerbals are feeling it too, meaning that we only get about 30% of the funds that we should be getting. There are some other sort of difficulty setting constraints that we have in this playthrough that should be scrolling up your screen now, as well as a lot of mods installed on this save, which you can find a list in the description. But ultimately, it's going to be a bit of a challenging one, but not impossible. So it should keep us on our toes in terms of trying to plan ahead for missions and things like that. I will go ahead now and sort of address the elephant in the room, or the corner, I guess, with the black box in the bottom right of the screen. This footage was taken from one of my first ever streams, actually, back in January of this year, 2025. So I was still learning what I was doing. I did block out quite a bit of the screen, but in future episodes, you'll see me sort of figure it out and learn to get rid of that. So bear with it for the first few episodes, but after a while it will go away. But yeah, I wanted to bring the actual footage that I used over to YouTube rather than just keeping it on Twitch, so that you guys can enjoy it in a bit more of an edited format. So hopefully you guys enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. But without any further ado, we'll get straight into the save mode as you see us sort of closing off the final settings here. But yeah, over to the KSC then. You see we are using one of the mods here. This is Van's KSC. Plenty of runways, plenty of pads for us to have a play around with, including one that's not on 90 degrees, meaning that we do have multiple approaches now to take into KSC, which is great for things like space planes if you mess up your first approach or whatever. And we gave ourselves a small loan of 500,000 funds, and basically all we're going to do is just use that to upgrade the runway as best we can, just to fit with the aesthetic more than anything. It doesn't really help us in terms of our start, but it does make it look just a little bit nicer. Next stop then was the administration building, because we do have the Strategia mod installed. Just means that we can basically choose a strategy to try and offset some of this cost of living crisis that we're facing. And you see the only one we're able to take at the minute is the free ice cream, so that just gives us a bit extra reputation, and once we build that up, we can then start taking others. And then, yeah, after that, it was just straight to mission control to take our first contract, which is to launch our first rocket, which I'll showcase the building of in a second. It wasn't anything sort of spectacular, and as a result, it wasn't really worth big money, only triple digits there, but it, you know, we've all got to start somewhere, basically, you know. So yeah, here we are in the VAB, just building away. Like I said, it was a very, very crude craft, just a control pod, a booster, a couple of goo containers, and a parachute. You know, we don't even know what decouplers are at the minute, so Jeb is going to be, you know, landing with quite a bit of weight on the bottom of his command pod, but I'm sure he'll be able to cope with that just fine. But yeah, I mean, that's the rocket. Sitting on the launch pad at the minute. We'll get Jeb out just to do a little bit of science on the pad, try and extract as much worth out of the mission as possible. You see him doing an EVA there before hopping back in. And yeah, I mean, without further ado, we're just going to hit the action button and shoot off, and I'll hand you back over to some live commentary from the actual stream for you to hear that. Enjoy. And SAS back on, and without further ado, I suppose we better go for it. And we're not going to do anything fancy, we're not going to try and move, all we're going to do is launch this thing straight up, as Jeb has other plans, and luckily it runs out of fuel, because I think that was going to get a bit crazy afterwards. I'm going to turn SAS off, as yeah, that's another thing we've got, is sync rate alarm, which is great, except we're in a spacecraft and not a plane, so I need to figure out how to turn that off. And I'm just going to bring us back over to present-day me while that goes on, because I spent, as you can see, the entire descent trying to figure out how to turn it off. What it is the GPWS mod, or the Ground Proximity Warning System mod. Basically, peek behind the curtain. I suck at landing planes, so it'll tell me if my descent rate is too fast. So, yeah, I was figuring that out. But we recover the craft anyway, after splashing down safely there. And you see we do get a bit of science to play with and try and unlock a couple of things in the tech tree, as well as a couple of ribbons for Jeb, courtesy of the Final Frontier Ribbons mod. But now it's over to the Science Development Center, and we will be unlocking both of the 2 nodes in front of us, just to get a better booster and a little bit of science experiments that we can run, the barometer and the thermometer there, just increase the amount of science we can get before then looking at what we can achieve on the next tier up. Before we then head over to mission control, accept another couple of missions, and then all we're going to do is just dive straight back into the VAB, quickly adjust our rocket with a bigger solid rocket booster, and a decoupler this time, just to be able to abort the launch if it all goes pear-shaped. And we're going to head off and see that launch in real time now. Well, what could go wrong? Let's go. I'm going to observe one of the mystery goos. We're going to do the tests in a second. Oh, okay. Never mind. Oh dear. Oh boy. Go! Straight off the bat. Oh. That's phenomenal. Well, there you go. I'm just going to put you back over to present-day me again while we make our descent, just because, you know, once again, that sync rate alarm was going on quite incessantly, but we do figure it out, as you see here. We do figure out what mod was making the noise, and we fix that, so future launchers shouldn't have this issue. Yeah, the launch wasn't exactly the safest. We're still suffering from some stability issues. We need to get some winglets or something, basically, just to stop the craft tilting on ascent. But we recover what remains of the craft, we get Jeb back home, and we use the money that we've made from fulfilling some contracts just to upgrade mission control to allow us to take a few extra missions and increase the revenue per launch. So yeah, it's been a success regardless, and as you see there, we're just taking a few sort of testing parts missions even, just to try and shore up a bit more funding for the program before moving on to our next launch, which you see here. We do away with the solid rocket motor, and instead we switch to a adjustable throttle rocket with some fuel tanks, and it works quite well. You know, we point straight up, we're not overtaking ourselves and flipping over, and we just end up pointing straight up just to prove the concept here. But we kind of go a little bit too far with it. We get a little bit of re-entry heating on ascent, and we kick the arse out of it just a little bit too much and end up going out of the atmosphere altogether. Yeah, we overcooked it on the ascent, and while it wasn't the plan, we've inadvertently made our way to space for the first time in the career mode. So now we have this to deal with. We don't have that nice shallow angle that you normally get with a re-entry. We are pretty much going straight down back into the atmosphere. Luckily, we have a low enough speed that we should make it, but you see us there just trying to belly flop the rocket into the atmosphere as best we can to try and increase the drag and prevent ourselves from gaining too much speed. It does kind of work until eventually the atmosphere forces just start taking hold, and yeah, they just completely obliterate the lower half of the rocket there, you see. But luckily we have slowed down enough, and we pop that decoupler off the bottom and pull the chute and descend nice and gently under our own control. You see us looking up ever so slightly there, and it's because we do have some debris that is currently falling down to Kerbin over our heads, and we are just a little bit nervous of those landing on top of us. Luckily, the aero forces kind of pull them away from us, so we're not really in any danger as we touch down among the trees there, brought to us by the beautiful Parallax mod. And yeah, we basically recover the craft and gain a little bit more science from it, which is great, and obviously will help fund our scientific endeavors as we recover the craft there. And you see we get our science and our money back from the parts we did recover, and we get Jeb back in one piece. Next stop from here then was mission control, just to accept another couple of missions. Mainly it was just for sort of testing random parts and this, that, and the other, which we kind of did off camera, or at least off camera in this episode. It was on stream, but there wasn't really anything too interesting to show. So, you know, we used the science to unlock a couple extra nodes on the tech tree, and basically just use the parts that we're looking at now to try and get ourselves into orbit. That's obviously the next logical step. We've accidentally somehow managed to go suborbital, so the next aim is basically to get into orbit, essentially. And we took the opportunity, now that we've got a little bit of reputation, you know, people seem to think we know what we're doing, even though we probably don't, just to accept a new strategy there. And you see there, we're just unlocking the final couple of nodes that we need. Before I quickly fade across to show you the rocket, the next sort of main launch for the program. So you see here, we're building it just under time lapse, sticking some science experiments on, and getting it ready to launch. There's not really much to say about this one. We did have a decoupler. We've got a throttleable rocket, meaning we have that level of control over the craft, and yeah, we are ready to launch. So I'm going to hand you back over to past me, and you guys can see how that went. Every time I've said it, it's always gone horribly wrong, but here we go anyway. That's a bit better. And we're going to do the standard approach of straight up and rotate over once we get past the 10,000 meters. We're definitely already too fast for the test, but that's fine. Right, we're going to lift that. We're going to separate them. And you know what? We're now going to start trying to tip ourselves over. We're already supersonic, but it is what it is. Come on. I mean, this launch has already gone like 10 times better than the last one, so I will take it, but... we could do with some control wheels or something. Oh. That's a bit of an overcorrection on my part. Alright, there we go. Might just make orbit this time. Throttle down a little bit and just let momentum carry us up. We're definitely going to space now. Our apoapsis, if you can make it out on the KSP engineer, has just gone over that 70-kilometer mark. So now it's all about building up that horizontal momentum, which is what we're doing now. The orbital speed needs to reach 2,300, and then we will be good. So I'm just going to bring you back to present day me quickly while we time warp a little bit through this this period of the launch. So we've got ourselves our apoapsis, we've got a good horizontal speed on the go. All we're doing now is just waiting to get to apoapsis to make that final burn to inject into orbit. This one isn't it, unfortunately. It does take place in the night side. You can see the sunset, shall we say, approaching quite rapidly, so it is pretty much just Black Screen Simulator 2025 at this point, just because of a bit of poor timing for the launch on my part, but we're nearly there. We are almost at orbital velocity. I think our periapsis is sitting at like 1,000 meters above the surface, so we're just waiting that last little bit to be able to inject into orbit fully and make that achievement. As you see, we're time warping along now. I mean, this was a pretty good achievement to have made for the program. You know, first attempt to orbit, and we nailed it basically. So yeah, I mean, obviously we look to make that final burn now, as I'm going to hand you back over to pass me briefly. So we're looking for that periapsis height, just above the cursor there, to go to 70,000. Oh, we are desperately close. There we go, we are in orbit with 80 meters per second left. So yeah, 80 meters, pretty small margin considering this was the first time I've been playing for a couple of years, to be fair, and yeah, we cut it a bit fine, but luckily it was enough that we had enough fuel to get into orbit and also deorbit the craft. As you see, we've done that now, and I've just sped things up again because it's such a dark. We're in the night; it's all just darkness. I've just sped it up. You see a little bit of re-entry heating there as we crash through the atmosphere. Controlled, no heat warnings or anything like that to speak of, so quite useful. And yeah, you can see just over coming around sort of the horizon there, the sunlight. So if we'd have either launched a little bit later in the day or we'd have timed it better, we could have had a daylight landing. But it is what it is, you know. We float on down all the way to the surface, nice and safely under the canopy of the parachute that you can't see, but I promise you guys it is there. And yeah, I think we splashed down in the water for this one, so nice and safe touchdown for Jeb. No risks taken on this mission, which is great, you know. And obviously once we do touch the ground, we then grab a last little bit of science, whatever we can, basically, before we then recover the craft and yeah, look to spend the science that we've got and the money that we get on new parts for the mission, essentially. And that's basically going to be the last launch of this episode. You see us there having a look at the different strategies. But the next mission, we are basically going to start looking for sort of flybys and basically start setting our sights on the Mun. So yeah, that's the plan for the next episode. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Bit slow going at the start, as with every KSP's career mode save, really. But you know, we've accomplished a decent amount. You know, we've hit that first orbit's target, and now that we know how to get a craft into space, it's about time we start having a bit of fun with it. So if you did enjoy, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and do feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, like I said, that's it for this episode. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.